Most supercars need an empty racetrack to feel special. These 10 don't. They'll drop your kids at school, glide into a 5-star valet line, and still rip a hole in the air the second the road opens up. No stripped interiors, no compromise, just obscene power wearing a suit. This is the ranking of the 10 sedans that prove speed and luxury were never supposed to be enemies. And the one sitting at number 1 might just be the most expensive way to stay silent. Number 10. BMW M5. The M5 has always had a split personality. Comfortable enough for the school run, vicious enough to hurt cars that cost twice as much the second you bury the throttle. That reputation goes back to 1984, to the E28 generation, when BMW's motorsport division decided a regular 5 Series didn't need to stay regular. That was the moment the performance sedan as we know it got its blueprint. Today's M5 pushes that idea further than ever. A 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 now works alongside an electric motor through BMW's M hybrid system, and together they put out roughly 717 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque. 60 miles per hour arrives in about 3.4 seconds, and with the M driver's package unlocked, top speed climbs to 190 miles per hour. BMW even built it so peak power holds up even when the battery's nearly empty, meaning this car simply doesn't accept the excuse of taking it easy today. The catch, and there's always a catch, is weight. This generation carries noticeably more mass than the outgoing F90, and no amount of horsepower fully disguises it. The old car felt like it wanted to dance. This one feels like it's flexing. Widened arches, an illuminated kidney grille, a rear diffuser, quad tips, it all adds up to a car that looks like it's already won the argument before you've said a word. Inside, sport seats and big screens complete the picture. Starting price, around $120,000, which in this company is basically the entry fee. Number 9. Mercedes-AMG S63e Performance. This is Mercedes taking its most dignified sedan and quietly arming it. The S-Class has spent decades being the default definition of luxury, calm, composed, chauffeur-approved. AMG's job was to make that calm car dangerous without ruining the calm. The result is the E-Performance, a plug-in hybrid version of the S63 that pairs a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 with an electric motor for a combined 791 horsepower and a staggering 1,055 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 lands in about 3 seconds flat, supercar territory from something the length of a small yacht. Here's the trade-off nobody talks about enough. All that hybrid engineering makes it faster than the old S63 ever was, but it also makes it quieter in the way that matters. That raw, slightly unhinged V8 snarl the previous generation had is softened here, smoothed over for the sake of refinement. It's a car built to arrive, not to announce itself, and the Panamera grille and quad exhausts make sure everyone still notices anyway. Inside, Burmester audio and acres of leather turn the cabin into something closer to a private lounge than a performance car. Starting price sits around $189,800, and Mercedes' options list can turn that number into a second mortgage without much effort. Number 8. Lexus YS 350F Sport. This one plays a different game entirely. It doesn't try to outmuscle the Germans, it tries to outdiscipline them. The lineage traces back to Japan in 1998, when Toyota built the Altezza, a car that eventually became the Lexus YS and set out to answer the BMW 3 Series with something more measured. The name itself, Intelligent Sport, tells you what Lexus was going for, comfort with just enough edge to matter. The F-Sport trim sharpens that edge, aggressive bumpers, bigger intakes, a driver-focused cockpit that doesn't scream but doesn't apologize either. Power comes from a naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6 making 311 horsepower. No turbo drama, just steady linear delivery that gets you to 60 in around 5.6 seconds. It's not chasing lap records. It's chasing the kind of reliability and balance that's kept Lexus's reputation spotless for decades. Starting price is refreshingly grounded for this list, around $46,895. Proof that this segment doesn't always require a small fortune to enter. Number 7. Audi RS e-tron GT Performance. Electric performance cars still have something to prove to purists, and this is Audi's rebuttal. It shares a platform with the Porsche Taycan underneath, but Audi wrapped it in its own identity, more composed, more understated, less theater. The performance variant is where the numbers stop being polite. 2 electric motors and all-wheel drive combine for around 680 kilowatts, translating to roughly 912 horsepower in launch control mode, enough to send it to 100 kilometers per hour in about 2.5 seconds. That makes it one of the fastest accelerating cars Audi has ever built, gas or electric. The push-to-pass function adds a short burst of extra output on demand, turning every overtake into a small event. Outside, low, wide, aerodynamically sculpted, with matte carbon accents that whisper rather than shout. Inside, a clean digital cockpit that resists the urge to bury every control inside a touchscreen. What holds it back for daily life is space. Rear seat room and trunk capacity feel tight for a car wearing this price tag, around $167,000 before Audi's options catalog gets involved, at which point that number accelerates faster than the car does. Number 6. Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Even when Italians build something as practical as a sedan, they can't help themselves. The Giulia Quadrifoglio arrived in 2015 as Alfa Romeo's direct answer to the M3, the C63, and the RS models, but it answered with more emotion than any spec sheet could capture. Quadrifoglio, the four-leaf clover, has meant luck and racing pedigree in Alfa's history for generations, and this car wears that badge like it's earned. The triangular grille, the aggressive intakes, the carbon details, it all sits there looking ready to launch, even parked outside a coffee shop. Under the hood, a 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6 developed with input from engineers who'd cut their teeth at Ferrari produces around 505 horsepower, enough for a 3.9-second sprint to 100 kilometers per hour. That Maranello connection isn't marketing. You can hear it in the exhaust note. The cabin leans on Alcantara and carbon fiber, driver-focused, but a step behind German rivals when it comes to infotainment polish. Safety scores have held up well in independent testing, though realistically, the most important safety feature in this car is a disciplined right foot. Pricing runs from roughly $80,000 to $100,000 depending on market and year, which for this level of drama is almost a bargain. Number 5. Cadillac CT5V Blackwing. While most of this list is quietly going hybrid or electric, Cadillac decided to do the opposite and lean all the way into old-school theater. The Blackwing continues the legacy of cars like the CT-SV, but sharpens it into something more focused. It's one of the only high-powered luxury sedans left on sale that still offers a genuine 6-speed manual transmission, and that single detail turns it into a proper driver's car in a segment increasingly obsessed with paddle shifters. Power comes from a 6.2-liter supercharged V8 making around 668 horsepower, enough to embarrass rivals like the M5 in a straight fight, with 60 miles per hour arriving in roughly 3.4 to 3.6 seconds depending on gearbox choice. The styling matches the attitude, big intakes, a low aggressive stance, optional carbon packages that make it look less like a luxury sedan and more like it's spoiling for a fight. Inside, sport seats and performance gauges keep the focus where it belongs. Starting price for 2026 sits around $99,000, Cadillac's clearest signal yet that it still wants a seat at this table. Number 4. Audi RS7 Performance. Built on the A7 Sportback platform since 2013, the RS7 has always tried to prove that a fastback business car and a genuine performance machine don't have to be different vehicles. The performance version pushes that idea to its limit. A 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 sends around 621 horsepower through Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system, hitting 60 miles per hour in about 3.3 seconds, numbers that would have belonged to a supercar not that long ago. The low fastback silhouette, oval exhaust tips, and wide stance give it a presence that reads as expensive from any angle. While the cabin mixes Alcantara, leather, and Audi's virtual cockpit into something that feels equal parts boardroom and cockpit. The adaptive air suspension and sport differential put that power down with a seriousness that makes the whole car feel engineered rather than just fast. Starting price lands around $130,000, and by the time most buyers finish configuring one, the budget-conscious section of the options list is a distant memory. Number 3. Porsche Panamera Turbo S e-Hybrid. Porsche spent years fighting the perception that a four-door sedan couldn't carry any real 911 spirit. The Panamera, launched in 2009, was their answer, and the Turbo S e-Hybrid is where that answer gets loud. A 4.0-liter twin turbo V8 works with an electric motor to produce a combined 771 horsepower and 1,000 newton-meters of torque, launching this full-size sedan to 60 miles per hour in around 2.8 seconds. Calling it a hybrid undersells what it actually is. This isn't a car built to save fuel. It's built to bend physics while carrying 4 adults in total comfort. The exterior stays low and wide with active aerodynamic elements and Porsche's signature light bar stretching across the rear, while inside the driver gets a proper cockpit and the rear passengers get to feel like they're being chauffeured by something slightly dangerous. Pricing starts around $245,000, and once Porsche's options list opens up, you're no longer configuring a car so much as commissioning a small architectural project. Number 2. Bentley Flying Spur Speed. This is where comfort, power, and old money arrogance collide in one very expensive package. Since 2005, the Flying Spur has taken the Continental GT's DNA and stretched it into a 4-door form without losing any of the aristocratic weight behind the name. The Speed variant is the most powerful 4-door Bentley has ever built, and in a segment full of loud statements, this one makes its point quietly. A 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 plug-in hybrid system produces a combined 771 horsepower and 1,000 newton-meters of torque, enough to hit 100 kilometers per hour in around 3.5 seconds, despite a curb weight that would make lesser sedans blush. The long hood, sharp LED lighting, and 22-inch wheels give it a stance that makes the road ahead feel like it's already been cleared for it. Inside, handcrafted leather, real wood, and a rotating display remind you that the word premium was practically invented for cabins like this one. Pricing typically starts above $280,000 to $300,000, and Bentley's personalization program can push that figure high enough to make even seasoned buyers pause. Number 1. Rolls-Royce Ghost Black Badge. At the very top sits a car that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, and that's exactly the point. The Ghost arrived in 2009 as Rolls-Royce's more compact, more drivable alternative to the Phantom, though compact is a relative term when you're talking about a car this size and presence. The Black Badge treatment takes the brand's famously silent, composed character and adds just enough edge to make it interesting. Darkened badging, black chrome accents, and a stance that reads as serious nobility even standing still. Power comes from a massive 6.75-liter twin-turbo V12 producing around 592 horsepower and 900 newton-meters of torque, moving this enormous sedan forward with a hush that somehow feels more intimidating than noise ever could. Inside, a Starlight headliner, hand-finished wood, and sound insulation so complete it borders on unsettling complete an experience built entirely around never having to notice the outside world. Pricing starts around $450,000 and climbs from there. Because in a Rolls-Royce, choosing the options is its own separate financial exercise from buying the car. 10 cars, 10 completely different definitions of what a fast sedan is supposed to feel like. Some hide their power behind quiet badges, some announce it with quad exhausts and carbon splitters, and one just sits there being expensive until the V12 decides otherwise. Which one earns a spot in your garage? Drop it in the comments and stick around because this segment isn't done evolving and neither is this list.